Okay, hello everyone. I hope everyone can able to hear me. Hello.
Yes, Neelandan, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Just a moment. Okay, so hello everyone. This is Neil Nandan Joshi. Currently, I'm working with MariaDB as a senior support engineer. So let me introduce myself. I am working with MySQL since 2006. Means when I started my career, I was Oracle certified, but I got a chance to work with MySQL at that time, and uh, I just grabbed that opportunity and started to work with MySQL. So till 2012, I have worked with various companies like product-based or service-based companies as a MySQL DBA. From 2012, I got the opportunity to work with Percona. So where I learned lots of different things, and I got a good exposure to work with different customers. Almost after 4 years, I have tried to change my technologies to Postgres, and but I couldn't get successful over there. So finally, I moved to MariaDB. So since 2017, I'm working with MariaDB as a support engineer. So today I'm going to explain about how to analyze core file and get backstresses with GDB for MySQL or MariaDB on especially Linux operating system. So first, I would like to explain the basic thing about what is core dump or file, what is GDB, and what is backtraces. So the people who are new for these words or this terminology and they didn't work on it so far, for them, this is a brief introduction that what is core file. So the core file or core dump is a kind of disk file which is containing an image of processes memory at the time of termination. Means whenever any process or any services will be terminated, that current picture of memory or whatever the um, details about that process will be not down into the core file. And the core dump especially will be generated when that service will be terminated. So the core dump will include many pieces of programming like processors, registers, memory management details, or operating system flags, etc. information. Especially core dump is used to understand the details about crash, means why crash happened, what exactly the processes, the threads were running on the systems, and what was the memory structure and why exactly the crash happened. So this is how core dump or core file will be useful. Second terminology is GDB. GDB is nothing but a project debugger. Mass people are using GDB because it will give lots of information about logs, about variables, about code, that at which point what kind of program code was run on the server, on the system. So these all details you can get from the GDB. GDB is not, you cannot only use GDB with the code dump, but if your process is already running and you want to get the details that what exactly happening on the system, you can also run GDB with the same time. So as per the uh, slide, you can see that you can run GDB with the PID of MySQL. So especially in MySQL, you can run GDB, and GDB will automatically attach with the process of MySQL. And then you can run some commands and you can get the details about threads and connections. If you have a code dump, Then you have to run it with the MySQL binary, as well as you have to give the core dump along with it. Okay, sometime you can run, if you want to run GDB with the MySQL running, then there are two commands which you can use. One is a thread apply all backtrace, and second is thread apply all backtrace full. So this will capture all the information, which is all the details about the processes and what the threads and connections are doing. Especially if we are talking about MySQL, then you can use GDB for specially studies for InnoDB logs, table logs, metadata logs. If you want to check, sometimes we have seen some scenarios where we can't able to get information from show process list or InnoDB status. In that situation, GDB will be really helpful, because in that situation you can get the background threads and details with the help of GDB. Okay, so I will move to the next, which is backtraces. Backtraces is it's a kind of summary, you can say, that how your program got where it is. It actually, backtrace will capture details per thread, and in each thread there will be multiple frames. So first you have to identify that which thread you want to check, because in MySQL or MariaDB there are multiple, it's a multi-threaded process program, and multiple threads are running at the same time. So if you want to check any particular specific thread, and in that thread what exactly happening, you can see the frames. So in I will show you later that how you can go step by step with this process. So the main thing is backtrace is nothing but a kind of map which will show you the details about the background threads. So this is now the important thing is how to enable core dump. See, majority every process has a separate way to enable the core files. By default, some processes have already enabled the core files at the operating system side. But if you are talking about MySQL or MariaDB, then you have to use a system variable code core_file. You have to mention it, and you have to restart the MariaDB or MySQL service for the same. No doubt, MySQL has some other way to enable the core dump. So this is how you can enable core dump, but this is not enough, because there are some additional details which are related to the core files, especially for the Linux operating system, where you have to limit the size of core files. Earlier, it was a really hectic process to see or to capture the core file, because it was taking lots of sizes in GBs sometimes. No doubt, in later version, some of the buffers are just excluded from that, and the size will be decreased now. But earlier, it was really hard to identify the size of the core file. And then when there are 25 or 30 GB core file, it's really difficult to check everything in that. But in latest version, now it would be a little bit easy. So sizes of core files are important, because the size will be fixed at the operating system level. So you can use ulimit-c command to check out that what is the current limits. And if you want, then specifically you have to put the size to the unlimited, because sometimes operating system level file permissions or file limitations are different than what core files needed. So in that situation, you have to enable and you have to set the unlimited size for the core file. Also, there are a couple of things which I want to mention, especially from the MySQL side. If you are using MySQL with the MySQL_safe, especially earlier servers like CentOS or Red Hat 6, okay, because from the 7 we are seeing that there is a systemd right now. So if you are using MySQL_safe, then you have to put core file size is equal to unlimited in that section in my.cnf. If you are using systemd, then you have to specify that particular limit of core file into the service file of systemd. Okay, so this is how. And sometimes, as I said, that earlier core file size was very huge, very high. So sometimes you cannot save those files into the data directory, because by default core file will be generated in the data directory. So if you want to change, you must you must do this, because you don't know how much size will be generated by the core file or core dump. So you can simply create a separate directory on the separate partition, I would say, where there is a plenty of spaces which you can use. You can give permission to that directory, and you have to mention two kernel parameters, because core file will be generated by kernel itself. So you have to give two variable. You have to set two variables in at the kernel level, which is a core pattern and core uses PID. Okay, so that why? Because core pattern will decide that how the core file will be generated, what will be the name of the core files, and how you will proceed. And the same with the PID. Core uses PID, because PID will add the process ID of that service. So sometimes when you are using multiple services and you have enabled core dump for all, and they will generate multiple core files at the same location, it would be easy to identify a particular core file with the help of PID. So that's why at the kernel level, you have to set these two parameters. And finally, you have to execute set UID to allow core dumps on Linux, especially. Okay, so this is how you exactly enable a core dump on the for the MySQL or MariaDB on Linux platform. Now I want to mention one more thing, which is especially with MariaDB 10.1.35.2.17 and 3.9, core file is a variable. Earlier it was not. You can only mention in my.cnf, but you cannot check the value of this variable when MySQL is running. So from this version, you can also see the same core file variable with the help of show global variables command. And as I said, from 10.3.7 and later, some large buffers have been excluded from the core file, so which will helpful to reduce the size of the core file. And here I'm just giving you some of the links for MariaDB and MySQL, that how exactly you can enable core dumps and how to produce a full stack trace for the MySQLD. The last link is for those people who want to run and get the full stack trace while MySQL is running, because core dump will only be generated when MySQL will be terminated. Okay, so if MySQL is running and you want to run and get the full stack with the help of GDB, then you can do it. Okay, and now other requirements. So first, I would like to mention that GDB must be installed wherever you want to run GDB and you want to get details from core file. Actually, why I'm mentioning this, because there are two ways. See, if for example, every day I'm working with the customers, and customers are just complaining about the MySQL crash or any other details. In that situation, there are two ways. One way is I can ask customer that please install GDB, please install debug info packages over there, and then run specific command. But in some situation, they are denying to install these utilities. In that, and they have only core dump. So in that situation, I have to ask for the core dump, and I have to set up the same environment with the same binary and debug info packages at my local machine, and I need to check it that core file. So in this situation, I have to install this GDB, and these two debug info packages are must to get the symbol details. Because whenever you will run a code dump is actually stored, the details will be stored in the binary format. And when you want to check those details with the GDB, okay, you will not get all the details, because symbols are required to get the exact details about functions, about what was the variable value at the time, session level or global level value of a variable. If you want to check at what function this crash happened, or if you want to check in which particular code file this was happened, these all details will be mentioned in the debug info package. So debug info package is required to get the exact details from the code dump. And third topic is, if you can't run GDB plus code dump on customer servers, as I said, then you must have same binaries, debug info packages, and dynamically linked libraries at your place. So I think this would be easy if you are setting up the same environment at local machine. If you are not setting up this environment, then only MySQL D is required, and these libraries are required. One of my colleague and InnoDB engineer, Marco Makela, I hope you have seen lots of, he has fixed lots of bugs about InnoDB, and he is the main and core engineer for InnoDB. He always suggests that whenever you try to report a bug, kindly, and if you have a code dump, kindly add these details along with the bug report, like a debug info or exact version, that what version you are facing this issue, and this dynamically linked libraries and the code file. So this is really required for to get exactly the creating the same environment which customer has, and then you can identify that why crash happened. So I would like to take 1 minute. If anyone have any questions regarding this, then they can ask.
So yes, Neelandan, there is a question from Kunal right now. Let me read that for you. If you have an application and MySQL DB running on same single server, when there is a slowness in application but no CPU load observed, then how to troubleshoot if it's an issue at MySQL DB or not?
See, from the MySQL side, you can not only decide from the CPU. Okay, so you can also need to check the RAM about it, because these two important things will show you that what exactly MySQL is doing. And if you have still doubt on that particular, if you are just checking from the operating system side and you have a doubt, then I would suggest that you should log into MySQL and check, is there any particular queries or any other process is running on the database which can take more memory or more CPU. If there is no CPU, then there must be some kind of RAM issue, or it might be also possible that due to particular locks on the systems or queries are slow, all overall system will be slow.
Thank you, Neelandan. So Kunal, it would be great if you can let us know if that suffices the answer suffices for you. Meanwhile, okay, there is another question from Krishna. Is there any performance drop if we enable code dump?
Yeah, I was expecting the same question. Actually, it's not, because when MySQL will be terminated, the core file will be generated. Okay, so MySQL will not be available only at that time the core file will be generated. So it will already affect when MySQL will be crashed. Okay, it will be only already affected to the users who are using the MySQL. They will not be able to connect to the MySQL. So when core file will be generated, I don't think it will be any issue with the MariaDB or MySQL because that process is already shut down. I hope I was able to clarify your doubts.
Yeah, so let's wait for Krishna to mark his footprints. Okay, I think.
Okay, let me go further and
Yeah.
show.
Yes, yes, Neil, and then I think we are good. Krishna is also, I mean, he's happy with the answer what you heard, and I think let's move on with the other slides, and we will start answering once we have more questions on this.
Sure,
Yeah.
definitely. So now I would just like to explain two problems here. Whenever MySQL will be crashed or MariaDB will be crashed, it will log some details into the error log, especially either assertion failures for any particular code, any particular function, or any particular file, or you will get the MySQL D got signals. Okay, either 6 or 11, especially majority time, these two signals are provided by the MySQL when MySQL server crashed. So sometimes you will get information like you can see in the slide that you will get the backtrace there only. Okay, no doubt it's not a fully backtrace because you will not get exactly the details about functions and variables and everything, but at least you will identify some kind of issue. Like in the slide, if you can see, this crash was happened due to some kind of insert query in the tables. You can see that that function which I have highlighted. You can see that it's a MySQL underscore insert thread. Okay, with the table list. So, and if you go further, you will also see that enum duplicate. So this kind of information you will get, initial information you will get from the crash details from the error log. But sometimes you will see something like this. Okay, and this is a very problematic issue which I have worked on recently. Especially, I have to work with Monty Videnius. I hope everyone know Monty is the founder and the original developer for MySQL. So this crash, if something will happen, and this kind of information you will get from the error log, it's clueless, means you can't see that why this is happening. Okay, so in this kind of situation, core dump will be helpful a lot, because where you will not see any kind of error in the error log, in the command line, or anywhere else, then you have to enable the core dump. So we did the same, and we have asked our customer to enable the core dump and provide the core dump so we can move forward and identify the issue. So I just want to explain this one of the case which recently I have worked on, and it was really interesting. You will be amazed with that. First, you will check that the error message of MySQL D table temporary is marked as crash. See, normally whenever this kind of messages are logged, you will see the table name. If there is an internal temporary table, then you will get something like SQL #, and some name. Or if external temporary table, then you will get the database table name. But when you see temporary, then it would be really difficult that what table actually, why this is happening. So what I did is I just asked customer to provide us a core file. You can see the core file name, the core, and dot, you can see the process ID of the service. So we have asked customer to provide that, and I have created a setup on CentOS 8 with the same binaries. They were using enterprise server, so with the same binaries and same libraries, I have set up locally and run this GDB command. Now, when you run GDB on the core file, you will get this kind of messages. The first, you will see that new LWP and thread ID. This is actually operating system thread ID. Okay, and at the last, when this all information will be over, you will see at the end of the file, you will see some kind of message like core was generated by this particular binary, and program terminated with particular signal, which is SIG-SED. Okay, and it was segmentation full. So here you can see with the GDB that the program was terminated and this core file was generated. Now further, if you will see, the current thread always will be the one. Okay, and whenever crash happen, you can get the crash details by the thread one. So in thread one, you will get the details about the crash always. Okay, if the process is running, okay, and you are checking GDB, then there could be any thread which have the problem. But when server or program terminated and you will get the codem, then the thread one will have the information that what exactly happened, why program terminated. So if you will go next again and again, you will get the GDB prompt. Now GDB prompt, uh, there are multiple commands which you can use with the GDB. Okay, because GDB is a kind of debugger, and at separate and multiple levels, you can get the details about the functions and variables and threads and connections, etc. So here I will check thread one because that is for the crash. So when I will select thread one, I will get the details about that thread, and that thread will just like how this will work. When you are logging into MySQL and you want to work or you want to check any particular table, you have to use database. So first you will use database and then you will run the select query. Just like that, when you want to check any specific thread, what exactly it was doing, first you have to select that thread. So you will go into that thread. After you run thread one and enter, then you have to run the backtrace command. Now backtrace will give you the list of the processes and the functions which that particular thread was running at the time when crash happened. So you can see that 0, 1, 2, these all are the options. These all are the details that what exactly it was doing. So first you can check one by one every options. And so for example, here I can explain you that the second you can see has 2, which is a write block record. So it means this thread was somewhere writing in the block. Okay, if you will go forward 3, 4, and 5th especially, there is, you can see that it's a Maria write. Now here I would like to explain that storage Maria is not a storage engine. Actually it was earlier, but then it renamed with the Aria. So with MariaDB, you can get one more storage engine, which is equally, you can see that it's equally MyXAM storage engine. Almost MyXAM, but Aria storage engine has some more details or some more features, which is not with the MyXAM. You can get the Aria storage engine details from the MariaDB knowledge base page. So why here Maria write? Because this thread was writing something in the Maria storage engine. So here you can get the details about the storage engine or the table, the storage engine, not table, but storage engine. So in MariaDB, the default temporary tables are creating in the Aria storage engine. Okay, so here I would able to identify that it was that some query was running, which was writing something, and it was writing in the Aria table. Now I will go again next in the number 6. You can see that handler is doing write temporary row. So I will get 2 details from this line. First, it was writing. Second, it was temp row. That means it was writing in the some kind of temporary table. Okay, now I will go forward and I will check each line. I will find one more information, which is it's number 8. It's a get schema column record. That means this thread was somehow accessing schema or schema details. Okay, so information schema or information schema related details this thread was accessing. Now I will go forward again and again. I will see that this particular execute SQL select. So writing, it was writing. Now here is the confusion. Earlier we have seen that it was writing, but here you can see that it was also selecting. So, okay, I will go again forward and I will find out in the 17 that MySQL underscore parse. That means this thread was running some kind of query. Actually, that query was select query, but internally it was writing something into the temporary table, and that temporary table was ARIA table. So far, I got this information from this tech trace that some kind of writing was happen. Okay, that writing was happen on temporary table of ARIA storage engine. Okay, and that was happening along with the select query. So now it's really important to know that what is that select query. So with the GDB, you can run one more command, which is frame. So those particular levels, this is, as I said, this is just like you are using database, then you will get the table list, then you want to check that what is in the table, you can run select star from the table. Just like that, first you can select the thread, then you can get the backtrace of those thread, so you will get different frames of that thread, and then that particular frame you want to check, because in 17 frame has 17 there was some kind of query. What was that query? So when you will run frame 17, okay, and you will run this command like print thread query string, so you will get the query that, okay, there was a query select column name from information schema dot columns, where table name was my workflow and table schema was news. So firstly, I found this query was the reason behind the crash. Okay, now why? So when you will go further and you will check the details, you will find out that, okay, this query was accessing information schema dot columns. Now, whenever any query will access details from the information schema, it will create a temporary table. Okay, and it will writing details over there for very short time, but it is creating a temporary table. So from this angle, I would able to identify the problem that, okay, this was the query which was running on the MySQL server. Somehow it was creating some kind of temporary table. And when MySQL was trying to write something on that particular temporary table, it was not able to do it and server was crashed. And this was the same reason why we were seeing those errors. The table temporary is marked as crashed and should be repaired. Okay, so this temporary table was nothing but created by that select query, which was accessing temporary table. So this is how normal we can go when any problem, this kind of problem happens. We have to go step by step. And the engineering team who is actually developing and who is writing the code is really important for them to go with this flow and to identify where exactly the problem is. So let me go to the last slide where we have seen this query. So finally, Monty has checked these all details. You can also get the information about the function. You can get the information about the what particular file. You can see that SQL underscore pass.cc. So these details will be only you can get from the core dump or core file when you have a debug info package installed. And that's why debug info package is needed. So let me conclude this case here, that this was the actually problem of ARIA table, that ARIA temporary table was creating at the background and some other process was accessing the same time the same table, and that's why that particular table was getting crashed, and finally the whole MySQL service was crashed. So we have worked more on that, and finally we found out that we have an audit plugin in MariaDB, and audit plugin is also accessing the same tables uh, when it will audit the information that who is accessing and what. So this was the reason. So when you will, we have tried to disable the audit plugin, and server was running fine. So this is how we find, and finally Monty has fixed that bug and solved this issue. So this the main topic I just wanted to explain you, that how exactly the troubleshooting works, and how exactly the developers or engineering team will find that where is the problem, and how we can fix it. And this all details is really required. So I would really suggest that if you find this kind of issue, and if you try to report a bug for the MariaDB or MySQL, please provide as much as information you can. So it would be really easy for engineering team to identify the problem and fix that bug. Now I think, let me share you one more slide, some important links for the blog post by my friend and colleague Valerie. I'm working with Valerie since 2012. We were together with the Percona, and he was the key person who has reported a maximum bugs for MySQL and MariaDB. And especially for the GDB, he is the master, I would say. So he already shared some slides or some presentations, and also he has its own blog where he is writing about the GDB and other details. So I just like to share these links with you. So if you want to get some more information, you want to dig in GDB, that what exactly can be happen with the GDB, then I would suggest that you should definitely check these links. So I'm done with my presentation. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening me. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Neelandan. So I have one follow-up question from Krishna while he was asking the previous question. So the question is related to: is there any open source tool to analyze core dumps?
See, here you want this. I'm sorry, but I didn't get your question. This is open source itself. Okay, we are not using any tool which is not open source. Like GDB is open source. You can install in your servers and you can use it. So even MySQL, yeah, definitely. Even though if you are using enterprise version, you can get the MySQL D binaries and you can get all the libraries from it. Or if you are not using enterprise server, then you can use community servers. And in that installation also, you will get the same debug info packages and same MySQL D binaries. So I don't think I have discussed any tool which is paid. These all are open source.